not normally want to give in to the cold, but the wind chill right now is, if you look at the weather app, the real feel right now is about 7 degrees and feels it. So we'll do what we can. Beyond that, not a lot of an agenda today. We've been out a lot, so there's a lot of what is there to cover we have covered. So we will see what happens. Come on along, and we'll try to stay warm as best we can. Thanks. Online forever and a day. And as Windows has evolved, you either have the old DOS window or in modern versions. I'm looking for that little wetland. I'm not seeing it. It had looked like it had gone here. Let me do a quick situational awareness dealie here so I don't have to walk into that water, because again, the wind chill is 7 degrees today. Wet feet today would not be fun on any level. That's why I didn't wear my other boots. They are water resistant. These so far have advertised as waterproof. And once I put waterproofer on them, they seem willing to live up to the reputation. Even if I don't find that today, I'm in a stretch of the woods I haven't been in before, so. Blazing new ground is still adding connected dots to the map. A lot of down trees in here, though. Which is interesting because you would think that's usually caused by wind, but we're down in a dip and the wind tends to go over, so. Interesting, if you consider the forestry angle on that. Back to computer geekery, though. Mac kind of evolutionarily died and was reborn as BSD. Basically what OS X really is BSD on Mac hardware that they kind of made their own to some degree. If you want to get into the really elitist Unix world, though, a version of Unix that commercially anyway died and deserved to is Solaris. Now there is I forget what the current name of it is, there's a project by those who love and adore Solaris for some demented reason. Not that I have bias, mind you, but they have kept it going in some form. And that's cute and all, but considering it's another Unix where you're basically running the same open source programs that you run with Linux, who cares? And I could say the same thing of BSD, but BSD didn't have all the same elitism that Windows did. They were always kind of like more of a friendly rival to Linux. Not that you can tell where my bias lies. Interestingly, as a side note, today I am going to update my Haiku box. For those who are like, what the fuck is Haiku? Haiku is an operating system that is the people wanting to maintain BOS, which is an operating system from the 90s that was uniquely interesting because it was neither Linux or Windows or Mac or any real Unix. It was its own thing. And at the time, it was not open source. It has since been open source. But the thing is that it had its own unique family of software, and it had enough of it that it was actually at a point of evolution that it was actually usable as an alternative to all the above operating systems that I had mentioned up until now. All on its own. It was easy to learn, easy to use, easy to maintain, and that was the charm of it. You could just turn on the damn computer and get down to business and not fuck around with updates and drivers and all this shit. Something that Windows still suffers from. Mac, I don't fart with it enough to really have a modern opinion of. And Linux basically will not pester you to the level that Windows will eventually just hit critical mass and say, fuck you, we're gonna reboot now. we're updating the thing. It's like the bad old days of AOL, where you want to log on and do something, and they apply the updates before you can log in, and you had to wait for... Basically, the thing on certain days would be unusable. So when people would become agitated and want to leave, and then they give you free months and all that, my God, did I hate AOL. There aren't words for how much I hated AOL. That was an abomination. CompuServe was so much better. Anyway, I'm sorry. Was that ICQ I'm thinking of? I'm dating myself. Anyway, we're going to take a break because that wasn't the intent, and I'm going to kind of figure out where this little clearing was, because we seem to be... I mean, we're not lost, but we're just not getting there, so... I will be back in a little bit while I do some assessing of my surroundings. A university somewhere in the Netherlands. And even more so than BOS, it was this original thing that was written to be graphical text. And you'd really have to see the way it looks to really understand what that is. But because they were doing this so bare bones, they kind of, like, they missed the CD-ROM. They never actually had a CD-ROM driver until you had, like, USB drives. And by then they had already gotten a USB driver going that worked. So they never actually needed to make use of CD-ROMs, which is kind of an interesting side note on that one. They kind of bypassed an entire technology. Like, for anyone that remembers the pointless dead end that was the iOmega zip drive, the 100 megabyte and then the 250 megabyte storage device. There was this big clunky thing on a parallel port cable. What a fucking waste that thing was. But because in that case, CD-ROMs and DVDs became the norm and just outpaced it so fast. It's like, it was a nice afterthought, but anyone that has one, if they haven't tossed it, it's like in a dustbin somewhere. But CD-ROMs, I mean, they're still there. People still have CD-ROM drives or writers or whatever, but just put it on. I mean, you have 2 terabyte flash drives, so just put it on the flash drive. Save yourself the grief. And I hate to say this, but I'm kind of being forced to go higher now, so I will, and I suspect that the wetland is over there. I need to get a better look from a high ground point anyway. So if it gets cold, we'll see what we can do. But let's keep on going. And this time, for reals, we're done with operating systems. I just realized I had missed a few. I probably still have, but those are the ones of note that occur to me. Looking for that open. It wasn't a big wetland, so if I don't hit it today, it was not really like a big thing. Like you look at it on a map and like, oh my God, how could you have missed it? It's not. It's like a long, narrow thing that runs, I think, parallel to the stream. Because now we're coming up on a stone wall, so we are entering a different stretch of the forest, I think. But what's interesting and kind of encourages, and I'm not seeing a lot of human sign out here along the stream. It's kind of like there's a trail that goes along the path of the pond we came in on, where fishermen kind of follow. And then it just becomes woods and kind of breaks up, and I think people just stop at that point. So if we can get around this and just go look over where the big dead tree is, we'll see if this is what we're looking for or not. If not, we'll go up on the hill and see if we can get bearings up there and make a call from there, how far in we go from here. Because we've already covered a fair amount of distance, even though I could be wrong. I don't think I am. But we're also getting more. We got to go around that big tree anyway, so we may be. So I guess the key question would be is how we get over there, because that does look like some kind of a wetland. Let's we still seem to have enough back cover over there. The wind is at bay, which is good, because, and then kind of got to go up this little hill to get around this tree anyway, so we can see what's, if this little stone wall. I mean, in all honesty, it'll probably lead us out to a part of that forest, so we're not going to get too lost in here, but where we are in relation to that is a good question. I'll probably have to do some second guessing with the map. Yeah, there's a wetland right there. So let's go have a look. Ow. I'm going to also have to Google now that I think about it. Think about this. If you're hiking in Connecticut and maybe southern Massachusetts, is anyone aware of a directory of stone wall maps? Because that would be both ingenious and to casual hikers like me, something damn invaluable on some level.